Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? We actually will begin the show today with a little bit of breaking news. This per our friend Brooke Kirchhoffer from NewOrleans.football, who just a bit ago tweeted, this isn't working for some reason. I'll need you to do it. Saints wide receiver Michael Thomas going to IR per source. So if you remember here on Monday when Dennis Allen met with reporters, he was asked point blank by Mike Triplett of NewOrleans.football if there were a chance that well, just listen.
Like, do you anticipate IR as a possibility?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. We'll see. That's what Dennis Allen said when Mike Triplett asked if IR were a possibility for Mike Thomas with the knee injury suffered against the Minnesota Vikings, which initially was thought to not be very serious. Obviously, coming off of the bye, Michael Thomas still not feeling well enough to go give it a go. And now, according to Brooke Kirchhoffer, Michael Thomas, Saints wide receivers, heading to IR. I don't want to do the whole low-hanging fruit, easy game of, well, Mike Thomas is injured again, but it's hard not to. I mean, whenever we were looking at Michael Thomas before this season and trying to make projections on what this season might look like for Michael Thomas, I think there was a consensus among all of us, which was, I'd love to project a great season for Michael Thomas. And if he's healthy, of course, I think he could still be one of the best receivers in the league. And, my projection for him was, I don't need you to have the type of season you did in 2018 when you had the best individual receiving season in the history of the NFL. I just need you to look like you did when you were a rookie, and that would be plenty if we could get that type of production from Michael Thomas. As a rookie, he had 92 catches for 1,100 yards and 9 scores. Behind Chris Olave as a legit number 2, that would be a great season for Michael Thomas. But here you are now. You're 10 games in, 64 catches for 448, just 1 touchdown, not nearly pacing toward those numbers, but now on IR and will certainly miss the next 4 games. Michael Thomas is going to yet again miss a chunk of the season, and we'll see if he's able to return after those 4 games that he misses. If there is a silver lining, it's that the injury occurred just before the bye. So that's 1 fewer game or week that he likely would have missed with that injury. So the timing of it worked out as good as it can, but we're going to look at Michael Thomas and when he comes back to see what he might be. The Saints, we're waiting on the official transaction wire, but Marquez Callaway was in the building on Monday for the New Orleans Saints, and that makes a lot of sense if you were to bring Callaway back. Of course, Callaway was on the New Orleans Saints as an undrafted free agent, made the team. The Saints did not re-sign him this offseason. He went to Denver, was in camp with Sean Payton, got cut in that last round of cuts, and now the Saints are bringing him back in. And look, while he may not have a great familiarity with Derek Carr, any familiarity with Derek Carr, he knows the offense, he knows the terminology. That's a guy that you presume could step right in. I don't think that bringing in Marquez Callaway automatically means he's going to be active on game day and be in that Michael Thomas role. That obviously would be A.T. Perry, who you drafted this last year and had his first career catch and first career touchdown against Minnesota a couple of weeks ago. So you have Chris Olave, you have A.T. Perry, Rashid Shaheed. That's your 3-headed monster at receiver. But you bring in Callaway, who's another guy who can be there for you in a pinch if you find yourself needing another wide receiver and a guy who's familiar with what you do. So anyway, right here as we push off from the dock today, the news from Brooke Kirchhoffer on Twitter from NewOrleans.football that Michael Thomas headed to IR. That means he'll miss at least 4 weeks. And when you kind of look at what the Saints have ahead on their schedule, the next 4 weeks, so this means he'll miss the Falcons, the Lions, Panthers, Giants, and theoretically could return for the final 3 games at the Rams, at the Bucs, and home against the Falcons. It's fair to consider what might the Saints be playing for in those final 3 weeks. My suggestion is the Saints are going to be in the exact same spot they are. They're going to be at or a game above, a game under 500. They're competing for the NFC South, which is going to go to a team that finishes 9-8 or 8-9, just like it did a year ago. So when Thomas returns, provided he does, I think he'll be joining a team that's still fighting for a playoff spot. But of what great significance, we'll see. Michael Thomas headed to IR, it would appear. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.